Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Hi, welcome to the New York Parrot Literary Corner. I'm Dustin Pickering, your noble and honest host. Today we have Hana Shishiny, is a Lebanese Egyptian by marriage, living in Cairo. She is a poet, writer, and translator, having poems in many anthologies. Her poems are translated to many languages like French, Italian, Nepali, and others. She had interior design engineering from ELBA Lebanese University and art studies in American University in Beirut. As a painter, she has many exhibitions both in Beirut and Cairo. She is preparing her second book of poetry for publication. As a writer of love, peace, and humanity, she was awarded twice for Ambassador of Peace. Thanks for joining us today, Hana. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. It's wonderful to have you on the program. We're excellent to bring some global color to this program, and I'm looking forward to talking with you. So you recently attended the World Poetry Conference based in India as a distinguished guest. How were you? Who invited you, and how did you feel about the conference?
Concept of what?
The conference in India. Who invited you and how did you feel?
Yes. I admire a lot the philosophical poetry in India.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of poets. I have a book with Mrs. Geotirmaya, who is a philosopher and a thinker from India. And we had a book together, Poet on Borders. That was my first book in poetry.
Who invited you? Mina Azami.
Geotirmaya Sukar.
Is the one who invited you.
She is the one who invited me. And Dr. Jernel Anna invited me too. I was invited many times to a festival, poetry festival in India.
Oh, excellent. So that must have been quite an experience. Did you enjoy it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy it?
I haven't been there. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Did you enjoy the online festival? It was an online festival.
I wasn't in India, unfortunately.
Right. But the festival itself was online. Did you enjoy speaking with the other members?
Online, always, yes.
Yes. I'm sure that was great. So how I noticed you published a lot with A Tunis Galaxy. That seems to be one place that I see a lot of your work. When did you start publishing with them, and how do you feel your work has evolved since you started writing with and publishing with A Tunis?
A Tunis Galaxy.
Mm.
How do you feel since you started publishing with them? How do you think you evolved?
Yes, I like that. I have Agron Shale, who is the one who introduced me. I mean, who is always selecting my poems to post them in A Tunis. I have a plenty of poem about peace, love, humanity, war, violence, and this is why he chooses my poem to post.
Do you think
Yeah, I like very much. I mean, I feel I grow much better with Mr. Agron Shale and all the team of A Tunis.
Excellent. So when did you start writing? Did you start it
very long time ago, even very long time ago, but I didn't dare posting them. But right. I always write for myself mostly. You know, I'm Lebanese, I'm from the north. Here we have Khalil Gibran, who is from the neighborhood. And I was really inspired by him, by his drawing. He has a museum just next to us, very near. And I was always...
we lost you for a second.
I was always inspired by him. I mean, I started very early.
Oh, so that's wonderful. You know, writing is wonderful thing. So it's good to start early. When you translate your poetry, do you find it difficult to translate from Arabic to English or from English to Arabic?
1 second, we can't hear you too well.
Okay. So this is the New York Parrot. We're having a little technical difficulties, but we'll sort these out. I'm Dustin Pickering. It's the best and only show hosting a global network of artists and poets. So
Hello?
Just 1 second, sorry.
gotcha. It's okay. We're basing our today's poets in Cairo, Egypt. Having a little technical difficulties, but we're
معلش يا
managing.
منيرة معايا دكتور هكلمك بعدين. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
1 sec. Can you try it again?
Can you hear us?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Quite
Yes,
all right.
yes, now
I'm
It
so
happens.
now we're
sorry.
good.
Quite all right.
Okay.
So you can hear me now. So I was
Yes,
just
yes.
curious, what sort of difficulties or do you have when you translate from Arabic to English or from English to Arabic when you're doing your poetry?
I hate to translate my poem from Arabic to English because I feel the Arabic mentality is totally different than the English mentality. When I speak to Arabs, it's much different than when I speak to all around the world. I mean, I feel it's different, so I don't translate never my poems. I enjoy doing Arabic for here and the English
Original in every language.
for everywhere. Yeah.
Interesting. So if you've translated other poets into Arabic, I believe, who have you translated? Can you think of any poets that you've translated recently into Arabic?
Do you translate anything?
I do translate others. I translated for Lily Swarm, for
Okay.
example. I translated for Agran Shale. I translated for Azok Kumar Mitra. Yani I translated poems for very well-known poets, but I don't like to translate mine.
Wow. I mean, I've read some of your poetry online, and I really like it. And you write a lot about love and fellowship of humanity and things like that. So, do you also write? And I noticed you do a lot of painting as well, because I noticed that you mentioned studying art. Do you also do visual art?
Painting, visual, كل شيء, painting, art, رسم.
Of course, I did many exhibitions. I am a painter. I started being a painter for a certain time and then I stopped. Now I'm dedicating to poetry. I'm getting old, so poetry suits me much more.
Right. It can take a lot more energy to do to do painting than to do poetry. Yes. Yeah, it's a lot more motion involved, I guess. It can be very tiring. I'm a painter as well a little bit. So do you ever think about writing poetry based on your own artwork, on your own paintings?
Writing poetry based on your painting.
No, because after I stopped painting, I start posting my poetry. I never. I didn't do like Gibran. Gibran was just doing his painting and at the same time his poem. And we have very well-known poet who is George Onsi from Egypt, who write poems and with designing
interesting.
At the same time.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, I didn't do that.
Right. So maybe it's just not something you would like to do in the future, maybe, or it's not something that you're interested in doing, or is it just you don't want to do it right now, or?
Are you interested in painting by then?
I don't know. It depends how I'm going to feel. All what I do is out of my feeling. I mean, it's inner feeling. I need to write, I write. I need to paint, I paint. But I don't mix. I never force myself to do anything I cannot really feel.
So what kind of artwork did you do? What subjects did you approach in your artwork?
Back when she was painting.
Yes.
بس كنت عم ترسمي شو كان الابروach تبعك للرسم؟
I was painting mostly things from here. I mean, an Arabic woman sitting. You know, it's something that we see around. It was not really very modern. And then I start modern for a certain time, and I stopped. But at the beginning, it was just from life. I mean, things around me. A beautiful sunset, a beautiful boat in the sea, something like that.
Oh, interesting.
I start that way, and then I start the modern for two. I had two exhibitions of modern, and I stopped completely after that.
Okay. Yeah. So, would you like to share us some poems with us for the audience?
My artwork,
Your poems, your poetry.
my poem, yes, of course, of course. Do you want me to recite some of my poems?
Yeah, please do. I would love to hear them.
Okay, just a second. I'm going to recite the last one. It was chosen by Agron Shale in Tunis. Voila. Agron Shale. Where to the birds of freedom fly?
Okay.
To where have the free birds gone? The sky is clear with light and sun. The spring is offering the warmth of love. They were cuddled with peace from above. Are we torturing the human soul and leading the world to darker paths? To where are we going with hatred and war? Into a foggy future, gloomy and full. O bird of freedom and flare, guide us to where love is divinity, where no pain, no despair, just the pure beauty of eternity. Give me your hand and take mine toward a dawn of ever-blooming flowers, to a peaceful tomorrow in love sunshine, to a happiness forever ours. That's
Thank
it.
you. What was the title of that poem again?
Title. تيتر البوم.
The title is where the free, just a second to give you the, where to the birds of freedom fly.
Okay. I like that. I like that poem quite a bit.
Because I think we are missing the birds of freedom in this world.
Absolutely. We're getting closer and closer, and worldwide, you know, a lot of trouble going on, and it's hard to feel free and comfortable in life, you know. So you also are administered a couple of Facebook groups. What do you hope to accomplish from them, and what do you hope to learn? I mean, can you maybe tell us about them as well?
ساعات تأسس كم جروب على فيسبوك صح؟
كيف؟
You help administer some groups on Facebook. And
yes.
No. Can you say the question again?
It was poetry and literature, word vision.
Okay, so
that was, and another one was serious lovers of poetry.
Okay.
I am administrator in many groups.
Right. So do you learn a lot from these groups?
Do you learn a lot?
Of course. But I think writing, I mean, much younger are for administration. I feel like really getting more time to write, not to be administrator.
Right. Maybe you'd like to read another poem for us.
Another poem.
Another poem? You want another? Okay, I will. Just
Never
a second.
Poetry. I always just keep throwing them at us. We have Hana Shishiny today from Egypt.
Hana Shishiny.
Shishiny. Okay, thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. Shishiny. It's hard to learn some names, and learning a little bit as I go. So this is New York Parrot Literary Corner, and we're getting a poem out here.
A healer. I have a healer heart.
Okay.
That's the title.
This is, yeah. I am a word in your poem, fragrant with jasmine love, a pearl offered in a stolen box to lovers with flying dove. In a spring bloom, a wild flower, a balm of lavender drizzled with rain. When your pen flow in timeless hour, my heart beats untamed again and again. And when in sorrow, angered or drained, like a blues song, I drop with your tears. I drop with your tears. Like a secret, I hide dear your pain and hold your soul till the the sun rays appears. That was something different than the first one. The first one was about freedom and birth, and this is a healer heart that took.
Both excellent poems. I love both of them. Would you like to try reading something for us in Arabic?
شي بالعربي.
Okay. You have somebody to translate it or what?
I just want to hear the language. It's just interesting to hear different languages on the program. Kind of give a global flair to the program.
Okay, I have one. I'm going to read it. بين الحلم والوهم القمر الكسول يرتمي بين ذراعي نافذتي يشعل أشواقا ولهفة تتراقص على جدار وحدتي. أسمع اسمي يتردد صداه في أروقة حلم يراودني وأشتاقك وأسترجع وقع خطاك وزغردة مفتاحك وأنصت للباب يتهاوى أمام حضورك فأنثني أعاني رعشة صوتك والفرح الصامت يلفني يستقبلك ويتحول المكان إلى سقف عاشق يستبق الزمان إلى ربيع مزهر بالعطر عابق. يا سيد قلبي دعني أضيع بين الحلم والوهم أحلم بك قصيدة مورقة كشجرة لوز تستبق الربيع زهورها كلمات عشق حميمية تستبق الزمان لتمحو ليالي الصقيع فبين الحلم والوهم دعني أضيع. That's it.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful. I love the sound of the language. It's such a beautiful flowing language.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome. So do you know, what works did you create that earned you the recognition as Ambassador of Peace? Specific goals?
Recognition of peace. The award of peace.
Award of peace. I never used but my words and my poem. I had plenty of poems for war and just suffering with all the refugee. You know, we are in Middle East. We have plenty of problems. We have war. We have people suffering. We have injustice. So we have plenty of problems. And I used to write from time to time poems about them. That's all, nothing more. But I concentrated on our problems, and that was the reason maybe they give me the award of peace.
Okay. So you don't do any actual, you don't do humanitarian work as well, and with your poetry, or do you not?
بجمعيات يعني.
NGOs and groups, like she helps groups.
I used to help from far, but nothing more. I mean, like anybody else, just feeling a human need of somebody else and helping.
Right.
That's it.
Just on an individual basis, when someone's in need and you can help them, you help them. Right. So how I'm curious about this. How was your artwork received when you did your exhibits in Beirut and Cairo?
Keith,
Can you say that again? Sorry.
please.
How was your artwork received in Beirut and Cairo when you
My artwork.
In Peru and
Yeah.
Cairo.
Mhm.
Yes. First, I had my own art gallery, furniture, because I have my engineering and designing.
Okay.
So I had my own place, my gallery of art. I used to have to do decoration, interior decoration. I used to have furniture and the pieces of art, paintings of well-known artists in Cairo. And this is how I start my contact with people of Cairo. I mean, I entered Cairo by the artistic door.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So we have about a remaining.
Now, I mean, after all this, now
Mhm.
I stopped working, and that's why I'm trying to give more to poetry. But
Excellent.
I worked for maybe 20 years in Cairo.
Okay. So did you find that people enjoyed your artwork quite a bit, or were they, maybe did it interest them at all, or?
كيف العالم حبوا your artwork? How did they feel? شو قولك يعني؟
I guess people enjoy looking at artwork, not buying.
Of course. When the money comes in, it's hard for people to let go.
There is a society of people who are really very much aware of what's going on in the world. And the Cairo is having a lot of exhibition of international artists who come to Cairo to exhibit. But as I told you, they enjoy looking, but very little buying.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we have a remaining, about 5 minutes in the interview. So if you want to, share some words of encouragement with the audience, or maybe say a few thank yous to friends and family and people who've supported you over time in your artistic endeavors, then you have time for that.
إنه بدك تقولي كلام تشجيع للعالم اللي بدهم يعملوا poetry يفوتوا مثلك، وكمان إذا بدك تقولي thank you صح للعالم اللي ساعدوكي in your journey لهون.
This is very true. Yes, I wish I can encourage as much people as possible, and I feel it's growing up the activity of writing and reading and connecting. I mean, poetry is somehow a door to connect with people, to get to their inner soul and to know them well. So I encourage, yes, and I thank very much all the people who helped me being myself now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular people you'd like to thank out there that you just like to say thank you, hello?
I started with Agent S. Rao, who is a very good poet, and he is the first one who introduced me to Facebook, and I start posting with him. And then, of course, to Agran Shale, to Azok Kumer Mitra, to a lot of things. I cannot really name them. They are really too much. So thanks for all the people who encouraged me to be myself.
Excellent. So do you have any future plans for your creative work? Do you have anything you're working on now?
Don't think. I think the way we are going to, I mean, we are writing, we are having group for to help peace, humanity, etc. We are trying to connect more closely with others to do something. I mean, as much as we can, we are trying our best.
Just keep plugging on, I guess.
To get
just
better,
keep
to
doing
get a better word.
Right. So this internet, I mean, the internet has been miraculous in its ability to bring people together during this crisis of the pandemic. And I find it fascinating. I've talked to so many interesting people. So it's really been wonderful talking with you. And again, thank you very much. What final message do you have our global audience as well as, you know, anybody listening in.
Final message للعالم اللي عم يتسمعوا.
I want to thank them, all of them, I mean, and I'm going to ask them to help the world as much as possible. I mean, to help the peace in the world as much as possible, because this is what I need. This is what the world needs. This is what is going to unite the world. It's enough for war, enough for violence, enough hatred, enough problems. We need to live peacefully and give the best of ourselves to be better, to a better future anyway. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and it's been a pleasure talking with you, Hana. It's wonderful to be able to communicate with people across the world during this time. So we'll go ahead and close out the show, and it's been wonderful talking to you. This has been the New York Parrot Literary Corner. To our audience out there, if you have some spare change, please submit to us at paypal.me/nyparrot. The link is in the information below on the YouTube station. And please subscribe. We're looking for 1 million subscribers. Support us as much as you can. Share our videos, share our flyers, share everything we do, and get people to subscribe. Help us out quite a bit. We're looking to build a very large global audience, and so we're hoping that our audience will help support us as well as supporting art. Support everybody out there. Just go out and be in the community that you're in. Focus on trying to build community. Start a reading series or do any number of things, exhibits, whatever it takes. When we get this COVID relaxed, we need to get back in the world and start doing things a little more actively. And keep writing. Please keep writing. Everyone out there, including you and me and everyone, we need to keep writing and keep doing what we're doing best and bringing the world together, and keep reading. Definitely keep reading. If you're not writing, try to read a little bit. It's a wonderful activity. I encourage it. Literacy is a gift that you cannot take for granted. It's if you can read, you must. You have to, feel free to do it. The more you read and write, the more you lead. Leaders are leaders as well. So thank you again, Hana, and it's been great talking with you. And if you need anybody out there in the audience that wants to platform on this show, you can get in touch with me at literarycorner@newyorkparrot.com. That's literarycorner@newyorkparrot.com. That's where you'll find me. If you need an audience out there, anybody who needs to talk about art or talk about literature, promote a new book you've got, please feel free to get in touch. We would love to hear from you. And thank you again to our audience. And thank you, Hana, again. And we'll close the show now. It's been the New York Parrot Literary Corner. I'm Dustin Pickering. Have an excellent day.